And with that said, I think it's important to say that on numerous occasions, the institution has tried to turn the narrative and to make this about Feziwe and Feziwe. And they've gone to the extent of vilifying us and character assassination. I don't know if you've seen the things that they've tried to say in the media, but our response to them was that we are here now and you can't make us disappear. But I think the most important thing that is important to state is that we don't believe in funding. It's one of the things that we are actually fighting in. That is the bigger strategy of it all. We know that there are tactics that we must apply in order to respond to the immediate crisis, that is to get all students registered. But in the final analysis, we don't believe that the funding model works, because every single year we end up in the same position. We believe that we are dealing with a structural challenge. Black people are unemployed, black families are poor. We have a history that we all know of dispossession. So we can't afford this education. And WITS University is a public institution, and the way that we treat health and the way that we treat social services should be the same way that we treat education. I think education is essential for anyone's survival. We do have a crisis of unemployment, it's true. But even that's something that can be resolved through economic policy and so on and so forth. We believe that it's better for black young people to have an education than not to have an education. Because once young people leave this place, they're only going back to poverty, they're going to crime. Young girls find themselves becoming prostitutes, being used by older men. They become addicted to drugs and yaobe, all these things. And as black people, we find ourselves stuck in a cycle that won't end. So with that said, we don't believe that funding is the solution. The government has to come in and has to fund education in these institutions of higher learning. And the government needs to regulate institutional autonomy, because institutions like WITS are very violent towards students. That's why we are on day 9. On day 9, we haven't eaten for 9 days, and the institution hasn't responded. They talk about us, they talk around us, but they haven't spoken to us. That's the first thing. But like I said, the government needs to fund education because it is the only way to solve this crisis. I'll give an example with the funding model. Here at WITS, poor students apply for the hardship fund. And let's say your debt is at 120,000. That hardship fund only pays 50,000 rand. After they've paid that 50,000 rand, the following, you register, you incur more debt, and then the following year you're back to the same position, and then you're told you no longer qualify for the hardship fund because you got it the previous year. The system then automatically excludes black poor students in that manner. But also, most of the time, that 50,000 is not enough that they give you. It's not enough. Students still have to look for more money so that they can register, because it changes year after year. But normally they'll say, if you can pay 50% of your debt, you can sign an AOD, and then you can register. And our question is, if you've already proven that you're poor, how are you going to raise the other amount needed to register? Because the reason you apply for the hardship fund is because you are poor, you don't even qualify for a loan in any bank. And we can already foresee that the crisis that we have this year, it will be monumental next year. It will be bigger than it is this year. So in as much as we appreciate you coming forward, I'm just saying this so that you understand the bigger goal that we have here.
Yes, yeah, true.
Because even if we get students registered this year, it's still going to come back.
Like,
so ours is that when students are registered, we're not going to stop fighting the system. Yes.
Now it makes sense.
It can't end. We want to see through that indeed there is free education. At the moment, there are many voices that have told us that it's not possible. But we believe that it's possible. Yeah, I think I'll end there.
No, that's true.
Yeah. Okay.